Hello and welcome to the Inside Discovery Life podcast series. In this series, we will unpack interesting topics covering how we've designed our products, how we assess claims, as well as interesting claims that we've seen. I'm Jeremy King, an actuary from the R&D team, and in today's podcast, we will be looking at protection for children. I'm joined by Discovery Life's Chief Medical Officer, Dr Maritha van der Walt, and Discovery Life's Deputy CEO, Gareth Friedlander. Gareth, to kick us off, I'd like to get your views on why you think protection for children is so important.
Thanks, Jem. I think when one thinks about, why you take out insurance, it's for the worst life-changing events that can happen to us and the impacts of those events. And I think for all the parents out there, I'm one myself, you probably can't think of a worse life-changing event than something happening to your child. A severe illness or a disability is a massive impact on your life. It's one of the worst things that we can probably go through. Sadly, it's quite prevalent as well. Some of the stats coming through show that 1 in 10 children will actually have a life-changing event like a severe illness, a trauma, or disability by the time they turn 18. So, that's a scary statistic when you think about your kids at school. That means probably 2 to 3 children in a class are going to have a life-changing event by the time they end school. So, these sadly do happen. And when they happen, the impact is enormous. I think every parent would want to throw whatever they can at the situation in terms of helping their child gain access to the best treatment in the world, gain access to the best devices, the best, facilities, whatever it might be. I think a parent would stop at nothing, would probably want to kind of stop work, put everything on hold, and throw whatever they can into dealing with this massive life-changing event. And the last thing you want is finances to also then hold you back at a time in your life when everything else is kind of falling apart and really difficult. So, for me, it's one of the first things we should be thinking about as parents and as financial advisors in terms of protecting, life-changing events is, do you have protection for something happening to your kids?
And we saw there's various studies actually across the world that investigate the impact of the life-changing event. And they've all seen that there really is significant impact on the family's income, lifestyle, etc. And Maritha, when we looked at our claims experience this year and we went through our claims roadshow, we saw that cancer was a major claim cause across most of our main benefits for our policyholders. When we look at children, how prevalent is cancer for children and what are the costs involved here?
Yeah. Jeremy, fortunately, the incidence rate for children is much lower than for adults. As we grow older, unfortunately, the immune system becomes less effective, and that is why older ages have more cancers. But children, unfortunately, also get diagnosed with cancer. In the South African Children's Tumor Registry, approximately 1,000 new cancer cases are reported each year. And that is quite scary because if it's your child, you would want to do everything that you can to make it better. Fortunately, again, the advances in medical treatment has improved the prognosis and the outcomes of these childhood cancers as well. A couple of decades ago, the prognosis was really quite bad. And today, for the most common childhood cancer, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the outcome is so much better with remission rates of high in the 90s, depending on the subgroup of the leukemias. But so the take-home message on that is, yes, cancers happen. Treatment is available, the outcome is better, but you need the financial resources to help you guide your child and the family through this very traumatic event.
And we see that treatment costs for cancers can be very expensive, growing even into the millions. But there's a lot of other additional and hidden costs that are involved. Could you take us through some of those?
From the medical costs, fortunately, cancer is a prescribed minimum benefit on all medical aids, but you can run into additional costs as in co-payments, which can be significant. But then the hidden cost that we don't always think about is sometimes you have to travel to a big center to get the treatment that your child needs. You need accommodation, you need time off work, there's loss of income, mental health support, care for the other children that are not sick. So there are so many hidden costs. And when we look at disabilities, you might need wheelchairs, you might have to adjust your house to be wheelchair friendly and other assistive devices. So there are so many costs over and above the medical costs that can be on its own very substantial as well.
Cancer is obviously very important, but we're also going to be looking at a lot of other risk factors that impact children, such as burns, falls, etc. Our benefit at Discovery Life that provides cover for children is called the Child Protector Benefit. Gareth, could you give us a high-level overview of this benefit and what it covers?
Yeah, sure, Jim. It's actually very simple. You select a sum assured that will pay out as a lump sum if your child suffers one of a wide range of severe illnesses, disabilities, traumatic events, things that you've mentioned. Obviously, cancer is one of the big ones. Dr. Maritha and her team have designed the benefit such that any child cancer pays out at 100% of the selected benefit amount. In addition to that, we've got a feature that we call the Global Treatment Benefit that actually pays out if your child requires treatment overseas at one of a list of kind of, centers of excellence for the specific condition or the specific surgery, whatever it might be. And we'll boost your payout to up to 250% in that scenario. In fact, we have a maximum payout of up to 6.4 million rand for a kind of a payout under this benefit. It's some of the highest payouts in the world. So really good coverage and significant sums assured on a broad range of events. And I think just to put cost into context, the average premium on this benefit is roughly 200 rand a month. There's no excuse for every parent not to have this. That's less than you're paying to insure your cell phone or to buy your Netflix or whatever it might be, to provide significant cover for this kind of worst of life-changing events is not expensive. Even to get the maximum amount of cover, a sum assured of 3 million that can be boosted to up to 6.4 million through the Global Treatment Benefit costs less than 1,000 rand a month. So it's very accessible, very affordable, easy to add, and will really give peace of mind that on the worst of events, you've got, finances are not going to be a concern, and you've got access to throw whatever you need to ensuring that your child, has the best treatment and the best care possible.
Thanks, Gareth. And this benefit covers, as you said, more than just illnesses. It's injuries, trauma. Maritha, could you take us through some of the conditions that it covers? I mean, Gareth mentioned we pay out 100% on diagnosis of childhood cancer. That's any cancer and any treatment. Is that correct?
That is correct. And the reason why we do not use staging for our childhood cancer and we just pay a full 100% on diagnosis of any childhood cancer is, first of all, childhood cancers are not really staged. Leukemias, there is no staging for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, for example. Many of the other tumors as well. And a brain tumor, yes, there could be gradings, various grades and so on, but generally a brain tumor is a really frightening diagnosis, and you would not want a partial payment for any kind of brain tumor or any kind of leukemia. So that is why we say 100% on diagnosis. And we also do not specify specific treatments because it varies so much from tumor to tumor, from cancer to cancer. Brain tumors, all of these do just have different kinds of treatments. So there is no one size fits all for treatment. And of course, it changes all the time. We've seen the advances in medical care and medical treatment that have led to these improved survival rates. But so regardless if it's surgery or chemotherapy or radiation or whatever the treatment is, you have a full 100% payout on diagnosis of any of the children's tumors, cancers. Most common, leukemias, which is a cancer of the white blood cells. Then there are the lymphomas, which is also related to the white blood cells, but more sits in the lymph nodes and spleen and thymus and bone marrow and so on. And then, of course, the very significant and scary brain tumors that we all dread. Just to take you through a case study, a little girl named Sarah. Fortunately, her dad took out the child protector in 2021. And just 3 years later, when Sarah was 10 years old, she was diagnosed with a type of bone cancer, and she qualified for a 100% payout under the child protector benefit. And the family received 600,000 rand to help get Sarah the treatment and care and all the hidden expenses that she needed. So other conditions are also covered, conditions of the heart, eyes, ears, and so on. And then most importantly in kiddies, the tetanus, rabies, dog bites, and all the other accidents that unfortunately do happen. Nothing worse than having your child in intensive care unit. So we would cover that for burns, near drownings, and all those other conditions that are just actually too devastating for any parent. Amputation of limbs sometimes happen, freak accidents, sports injuries, and so on. So it is a wide range, very comprehensive range of conditions to help parents taking care of the financial aspects so that you can just deal with all the other very significant effects like the emotional impact, time off, logistics, and so on.
Thanks, Maritha. Yes, I think it shows how important cover for our children is. Our life plans actually include automatic cover for children for disabilities and illnesses. And these built-in benefits are specifically designed to support families and ensure holistic cover. It's obviously automatic free cover, so it's not completely comprehensive as the child protector benefit, but it still provides that cover. And Gareth, could you take us through, we see claims come through from these automatic benefits, which shows how important it is to have cover in place.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. And obviously, as you mentioned, these are free benefits, so we limit them, at a couple of 100,000 rand. So each claim, it's significant. It's a good payout for a parent to receive, but probably not sufficient on its own to cover some of these additional impacts that could occur. But just through these kind of free benefits, we saw 270 claims paid last year alone, and that came to 13.8 million rand that was paid out to those particular clients. So it shows how often these child illnesses actually happen. Under our automatic family protector as well, we paid 3 million last year. For me, this talks to the fact that the claims happen, and we should be making sure as financial advisors and as parents that we've got sufficient cover, that we've bought up to these higher sums assured to make sure that parents are appropriately prepared from a financial perspective. And as Maritha said, can focus on the important things like the emotional side and being there for their family through a very traumatic life event.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gareth. And thanks, Maritha. It's been such an interesting conversation with you guys here, just hearing about the importance of child protection as well as these evolving medical trends that are affecting children today. I think it really reinforces the need for comprehensive cover, not just for yourself, but for your entire family. And so thank you to our listeners, and please keep an eye out for more in this series.